Flying, collecting shiny objects, pooping on unsuspecting victims, just crow things. That is indeed the name of the latest release from Unbound Creations, the studio that brought us the indie gem Rain on Your Parade. But does this level-based sandbox adventure game succeed in creating lovable chaos, or is this one truly for the birds? Before we get into it, please take a moment to like and subscribe so you don't miss a future review. Check us out at patreon.com/idreamofindiegames for some rad perks like exclusive content and Discord access, and join Gamer Ghoulfriend Tuesdays and Thursdays for our weekly live streams right here and at twitch.tv/idreamofindiegames. Your community is waiting for you. Just Crow Things is a title that called to me as a fan of Untitled Goose Game and someone that was a bit disappointed with other recent entries in the chaotic animals genre of gaming. There's just no better way to unwind than spending your downtime wreaking havoc as a small creature, and I stand by that. So what does Just Crow Things bring to the table? Very little story, that's for sure. You play as a crow leaving the nest for the first time and interacting with a number of wildlife locals, each with some basic backstory and motivation. The most prominent of these NPCs is a gang of sunglass-stealing bully crows that try to push our little guy around. It's very surface level and not particularly important to the review or my overall opinion of the game, so I'll move on to the basics of gameplay. Taking flight from the nest as our little crow took some getting used to for me, not because it's particularly difficult, it just took a little time to adjust to holding down the right trigger to fly and releasing to land. Once you get the hang of it, it makes a lot of sense when paired with the other inputs, but my first few flights were a little drunken. You also have a swoop, which allows you to quickly gain speed and pick up objects using the left trigger. There's a button to pick up items and another to use interactive items once you're holding them, like a camera or a paintbrush. Then there's the poop button. You may be surprised to find that you'll be using the poop command a lot more than you initially anticipated, and perhaps even more surprised to find out it never really gets old. After exiting the tutorial, Just Crow Things opens up to an overworld map where you can select from 10 playable levels. In order to advance the game and unlock more of the map, you'll simply collect and complete tasks within each level to earn crowputation points. These quests are usually quite silly, like collecting lost candy, being a literal party pooper, or finding the damn squirrel babies for what feels like the 100th time. One thing you'll quickly come to understand about Just Crow Things is that it definitely does not take itself too seriously. From the level designs to the NPC interactions and the quests themselves, it's all completely absurd and a lot of fun. Gameplay is definitely on the cozier side of things, but I will say that it's a bit less wholesome than many of the similar titles I've played. That's not to say it deserves a mature rating by any means, actually quite the contrary. You have to be able to laugh at a few poop jokes to better understand the humor this game is going for. It's light and childish, but in the best possible way. Not all quests are created equal, though. For example, I was not a huge fan of the races, which were present in every level. On the bright side, you don't need to complete all tasks to advance the game, so if you'd rather save some quests for later or not complete them at all, you can certainly do that. The races also have their own difficulty setting in the options menu, so you can lower the challenge level if you enjoy them but find them to be a bit much. On a related note, there is a little text on the options menu that really stuck with me throughout my entire playthrough. It says something to the effect of all options are valid, and since they're included in the game, they are the way the game is intended to be played. It's a little sad that it needs to be said, and especially sad that it needs to be said in a game about a crow burning things with a blowtorch, but it's a sentiment that I wholeheartedly agree with and support. It shouldn't be cool to make folks feel bad about wanting to enjoy their gaming experience, whatever that may mean to them. Now, I'll get off my soapbox to bring up a bit of a gripe that I have with Just Crow Things, which is the way that tasks are tracked. While you're navigating around the markets of Egypt or the desolate deserts of the moon, you'll be accompanied by an on-screen map, which can be toggled on and off, as well as an intrusive quest list that is always present on the left-hand side of the screen. At the time of this review at least, there was no way to make this quest list disappear other than untracking all of the quests you've taken on, otherwise it takes up about half of your screen. If you keep this up at the same time as your map, you might find yourself straining your neck trying to see around corners as I did. I know it's not really going to help, but tell that to my subconscious brain, okay? It would be great to implement a quick hide feature for this quest log, and I feel like that could be a pretty easy fix. Apart from that, I wholeheartedly enjoyed playing my way through Just Crow Things. The level designs and variety are incredibly creative and featured some really fun Easter eggs for all types of gamers to enjoy. While some of the quests are repetitive, it never stops being an overall relaxing and lighthearted experience that makes it the perfect type of game to unwind with. Controller support makes it fairly easy for anyone to pick up and play, and I do think younger audiences will find something to enjoy here as well. I'm not the biggest fan of the graphical style, which does resemble Rain on Your Parade in a very big way. It's a plasticky looking Wii style throwback that I haven't quite acquired a nostalgia for just yet. This works to mixed results, with some of the set designs looking pretty impressively detailed, while humans and animals have some bizarre proportions and textures. The crow itself is absolutely adorable, and I did love collecting the different hats and customization options to jazz him up a little bit. Sound design, on the other hand, is really top-notch for a game of this genre. The music is silly and fun, with some hooks that really get into your head, including the song that plays on the Overworld map and the funky bass line of the Big Apple. Characters don't speak, but the goofy squawks, meows, and barks are surprisingly expressive. Some of the sound effects become a bit repetitive with extended gameplay, particularly the sound that occurs when you fly into something, but it's not a deal breaker in any way. Just Crow Things is everything I was hoping Little Kitty Big City would be, and then some. It's lighthearted, it's stress-free, and it has a great sense of humor about it. The game performs surprisingly well, with no issues or bugs other than the literal bug, or crashes throughout my gameplay. The customization options are adorable, as is the message of acceptance for all difficulty preferences. I could do with a bit of a cleaner task interface, and I would love even more levels, but as it stands right now, this is the perfect game to settle in with after a long and stressful workday, or if you just want to set the world on fire and then poop on it, which is weirdly how I feel after a long and stressful workday anyway. I am awarding Just Crow Things with the Silver Genie Lamp of Approval. Sometimes we all just need some bird-brained fun.